Welcome to The Explainer. So today we're going to try and untangle the massive complex system that runs sport all across the United Kingdom. You know, from a kid's first sports day all the way to an Olympic podium, there's this huge network making it all happen, and we're going to break down exactly how it works.
And really, it all boils down to one massive question. Is the whole point to churn out elite medal-winning champions? Or is it about getting everyone, the entire population, healthier and more active? This is the fundamental challenge for UK sport. It's a constant balancing act between these two huge and sometimes competing ambitions.
So how on earth does the system juggle these two goals? Well, to figure that out, we're going to follow the journey of a single symbolic athlete. We'll see how they go from just starting out to maybe, just maybe, standing on a world stage. And that path is going to show us exactly how the UK tries to walk that tightrope between glory and public health.
So where does this journey even start? Well, for pretty much all of us, it begins right here, in a school gym, a local park, maybe just the playground. This is the absolute bedrock of the entire system. It's where those first seeds of a lifelong relationship with sport get planted.
Okay, so there's this framework that experts talk about, called the Sports Development Continuum. Sounds complicated, but it's pretty simple. It all starts at the foundation level, literally just learning how to run, jump, and throw. From there, you move into participation, and that's all about just taking part, actually playing a specific sport regularly.
And you know what's really interesting here is who's actually building this foundation. It's not just sports people. You've got the Department for Education, which shapes what happens in PE. You've got the Department of Health, pushing for an active lifestyle. Local councils are in on it, keeping parks open. And then you have Sport England, funding all sorts of grassroots stuff. It's this massive team effort just to get people up and moving.
Right, so fast forward a bit. Our athlete, they've found a sport they absolutely love. They're past the casual kickabout stage and they want to actually compete. And this is the point where things get way more organized. A whole new layer of structure just clicks right into place.
And that structure comes from these incredibly important groups, National Governing Bodies, or NGBs. The easiest way to think of them is as the official guardians for every single sport. So you've got the FA for football, the RFU for rugby, the LTA for tennis, you name it. They're in charge of their sport from the bottom all the way to the top.
And their to-do list? It's huge. NGBs are the ones who write the rule books. They organize all the leagues and the tournaments our athlete is going to play in. They're responsible for training coaches, and they even help get money for new facilities. They literally create the entire world that a sport lives in, making sure it's fair and that it can grow.
And it's this very structure, this rule book, that lets our athlete keep climbing that continuum we talked about. Now they can move into the performance stage, really honing their skills. And then, if they've got what it takes, all the way to the excellence stage. And that's where peak performance is forged.
And this is the summit. Our athlete is now showing serious world-class potential. They're about to step into what you could call the high-performance ecosystem. It's a machine, really, and it's been precision-engineered for one purpose: to create international champions.
Sitting right at the very top of this whole pyramid is UK Sport. Now, it's really important not to confuse them with Sport England. Where Sport England is all about grassroots and getting people involved, UK Sport has a single, laser-focused mission: find and develop elite athletes to win medals on the world stage. They run the whole show for Olympic and Paralympic sport.
Okay, but a machine like this needs fuel, right? So where does the money come from? Well, for the most part, it comes from all of us, through the National Lottery. That lottery funding is the financial engine that lets top athletes train full-time, get the best coaching, and use world-class science and facilities.
And look, this quote really nails it. This isn't happening by accident. The whole system is intentionally designed this way. It's explicitly built to create a pathway, to find talent, and to develop those people into elite athletes. That's a core purpose.
But here's the thing. UK Sport isn't playing in its own little sandbox. It's part of a global game. International bodies have a massive say in what happens. When FIFA decided to bring in goal line technology, the Premier League adopted it. When FINA, swimming's governing body, banned those high-tech suits, every British swimmer had to ditch them. The global rules directly shape the national sport.
So, after all that, all these organizations, all this money, all these different goals, how in the world do we actually know if any of it is working? Is it really just about how many medals we win at the Olympics, or is there something more to it?
Well, it turns out success isn't just one thing. They're actually looking at it from 3 different angles. Yes, of course, elite performance is a huge part of it. But they also measure participation levels. Are more people actually getting active?
And maybe most importantly, what's the overall impact on society? Is sport actually helping to solve big problems like obesity?
And to get those answers, they use a whole bunch of different tools. There are quality schemes that check how well local clubs are being run. They do these massive national surveys to find out how many of us are actually playing sport. And they track everything against big government targets to see if sport is really making a dent in the national's health.
And that brings us full circle, right back to where we started. This whole elaborate structure, it's a machine designed to serve two masters, the chase for medals and the dream of a healthier nation. And with only so much money, time, and attention to go around, the biggest question of all isn't just how it all works, but where we think that balance should really be. What's the real win?